Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our first webinar this year. On behalf of today's sponsor, the Florida Green Building Coalition, I would like to thank you for joining us today. My name is Jeannette Moore, and I'm the chair of the Realty Appraiser Builder Outreach Committee of Florida Green Building Coalition, also known as FGBC. We are pleased to offer our 2021 free Lunch and Learn webinar series on the second Tuesday of the month at 12 noon. A couple things I'd like to mention before we begin. The webinar is being recorded and will be available on FGBC's website and their YouTube channel. Attendees will be muted during the presentation, so please type any questions you have in the Q&A box. After the questions have been answered, you will be unmuted at the end so you can ask questions in case you're on a cell phone. Please complete the survey at the end of the presentation so we can address other topics of interest in the future. Today's webinar is the Green Team. Our goal is to help you understand the general process for building an affordable new home that is not only healthy and comfortable, but will also save you money every day. Florida Green Building Coalition is the leading certifier of high-performance homes, new and remodeled, multifamily complexes, high-rises, entire communities, and commercial buildings throughout Florida. In fact, FGBC has just surpassed 25,000 certified projects within our state. We also encourage and certify local governments to operate more efficiently within and throughout their communities. What makes an FGBC certification so valuable is the rating system is based on climate-specific criteria particular to Florida. At the end of the presentation, our speaker, Mary Vasilevsky, will be available to answer any specific questions you may have about the new construction process. Before we get started, we'd like to get an idea of who is joining us today. So please select the best description of your profession or area of interest in the poll. Give you a couple minutes or a couple seconds to go ahead and select something. And you can scroll down and choose other and add other if you'd like. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the results are, okay, we have consultant, we have a couple builders or general contractors and realtors. That's great. Okay. We had a couple homeowners that haven't joined us yet, but I'm sure they'll join in the middle at some point. So I'm glad to see that we have a number of different professionals joining us today, along with some homeowners who may be interested in building green. Now, with further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Mary Vasilevsky. Mary is the Sustainable Development Coordinator of Florida Green Construction in Palm Coast, a new home builder who achieves FGBC's Platinum certification level for every home they build. She is a graduate of the University of Florida, where she received her MDP in Sustainable Development Practice, a certificate in Tropical Conservation and Development, and a certificate in Environmental Education and Communication. After conducting her graduate research in the Middle East, Mary decided to dedicate her career to improving her own communities in the U.S., now working with Florida Green Construction. I'd like to start with a couple questions for Mary before she delves into how Florida Green Construction goes about building their green certified homes. Mary, when and why did Florida Green Construction decide to build only green certified homes?
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that introduction, Jeannette. We started building, the founder of the company started building only green homes in about 2007. It started after Hurricane Katrina, when he saw the damage and destruction that it had brought to Louisiana and other parts of the US. And then he started looking at different types of construction techniques that were able to withstand natural disasters. And so after he traveled to Louisiana and then to places where homes survived fires and other cold areas, hot areas, he started to realize that the only way that you can build and make sure that it should be of quality is green. And so that's what got him into green construction, the resilience and the health factors. So he's been building green since 2007 and hasn't looked back since.
That's a great story. I love that. And it definitely helps a lot of people out. So that's great. Thank you. Another question is, how did Florida Green Construction develop its green team? And is it important to have all these people working together?
Absolutely. Yeah, the green team was developed with time, a lot of trial and error, a lot of learning. So just a summary of who needs to be on a green team. If you're someone who wants to, if you're a realtor and you want to help your client get a green home, or if you're a homeowner, these are the people that you need to have on your green team. It needs to be a combination of a builder, a builder who does certified green, an architect, the subcontractors need to be familiar with how to build green. So you need to have good superintendents, and you need to have AC people who know how to design and ventilate a green build, people who do the trusses and the roofing, landscaping for water, and two of the most important ones, A, knowledgeable realtors, lenders, and appraisers, B, energy raters or green certifiers who know how to certify the homes and how to hold your builder, your architect, and your entire team accountable to having a good home.
Wow. Okay, I see it is very important to have a green team put together, and it helps to have somebody that knows what they're doing to make the process work great. So with that being said, thank you for those explanations, and now take it away with your presentation.
Thank you. And first of all, thank you everyone for attending. My first question to everyone is not necessarily what is green building in abstract, but what is a green building? And so some of you who are able to participate in the chat, please answer this question. If it has a solar panel, is it a green building? Yes or no? Or maybe. Okay, we got a no, got a maybe, no, no, no. Oh, wow, yes. Okay, we got a yes, we got a no. We have a couple of different answers. All right, if it has good insulation, is it a green building? Maybe. All right. Closer. Okay, Deidre says closer. Now, is it if it's made out of water bottles, is it green? Gloria, no. Probably. All right, we have a couple of good answers here. And my last question here, if it's the color green, is it a green building? Yes. All right. I see the capital N with the no from Michael. YL says absolutely yes. Gloria. Oh, you guys are an awesome crowd. Thank you guys so much for participating. Yeah, so this was a trick question, and a lot of them were kind of meant to be trick questions. What I listed are green features, mainly in the energy efficiency spectrum, like between the insulation and the solar. But exactly like, for example, Scott said, it is not green with all capital letters. A green building is the culmination of different factors that address, of course, what we think of energy efficiency. So saving that money, saving your energy bills. Second thing that people don't really think about is healthy ventilation, healthy air quality. Third thing leading into that is what kind of materials are you using? We don't realize it, but traditional builds and traditional construction materials off gas and have a lot of harsh chemicals that can negatively impact our health over time. And some of them, you know, they don't last. And so you end up paying twice for the same thing. Resilience. So how strong is your structure? How does it help last in the long term? You know, the pinnacle of sustainability. And comfort. A green building is a comfortable building. And most importantly, green building and the philosophy of green building is how to make a home for the person living in the home, not for a profit, not just to make a community. How do you build a home so people can healthily live in your home? That's the philosophy. So Florida Green Building Coalition, one of the reasons I love Florida Green Building Coalition is because they've developed 8 standards in which they build the homes. And this is extremely helpful for builders. This is the nice little binder that they give us. And in these 8 standards, you have energy, water, lot choice, site, health, materials, disaster mitigation, and general other parts. Every single one, and I know I'm not expecting you guys to read this, has a point. Yeah, like, can you guys read this? No. Every single point has a description of how to achieve it. And the best thing about Florida Green Building Coalition is that this is a set standard created for Florida. So you're not having standards that are met for another climate that end up wasting money or things that may potentially not be needed in your build. It's very specific to our clients and it's met for us. So one of the things about green, like the standards from FGBC and one of the pinnacles from green building, not just with FGBC, with other systems like Green Globes and LEED, is you have energy efficiency and indoor air quality. Now there's a big relationship between energy efficiency and indoor air quality. Back in the day, probably around the 90s or the 80s, someone can correct me if I'm off with my timeline, people decided to make their homes energy efficient, a sealed envelope, and so they would insulate the whole roof. That way there's no space for energy to leak through to the outside and waste energy. So they started to find, after just doing the insulation throughout the whole home, when you seal that envelope, your air quality on the inside actually decreases because you're not allowing for any space for ventilation. So if someone comes in, coughs in your house, or if you're doing some work in your house, there's no area for air exchange. And this is the difference between energy efficient features and a green home. Someone can tell you, oh yeah, we have spray foam insulation, it helps with your bills, it's great. But what about that air quality? So with a Florida Green Certified Standard or Green Standard, they actually address both of that. So, okay, where's your energy efficient feature? And how do you keep that ventilation and improve your air quality? So that's one of the biggest reasons why you want to keep with a certified standard and not just do it yourself and do like a green feature here, green feature there. You want it to work together. So a little bit about me. I actually started working for the company after I lived in a green home. I went back to grad school at some point. I don't know why I did that, probably because I like tears. And when I was living in my last home, I was getting sick about once a month. And most of my life, I was getting sick a couple of times a month. But the one I lived in before I moved into a green home definitely had a lot of mold and humidity, and I'm not even going to get into the dust and the other parts of it. I was getting sick once a month. I was missing work. I was not happy. I was in a constant state of brain fog, but that's just what I thought life was. And then I moved into a green home by chance, and it was supposed to be a temporary thing. And I started feeling a lot better. I stopped getting sick. And at first I was kind of confused as to what happened there. Like, why did I stop getting sick? Why did I start breathing? Like I stopped waking up with a stuffy nose in the morning. My brain fog went away. And then I realized, oh, it's because we actually have good air exchange. And because we have the combination of a sealed envelope and green materials, there is nothing that's irritating my nasal passages and my allergies. And so here I've shared a testimonial from a client of ours who lives in our home. And I highlighted the part about the air quality. So I'll read that out loud. The air quality in the home has been amazing and has helped with my severe sinus infections to the point I can actually sleep again at night. Not to mention the insurance benefits and peace of mind. So those are someone else's words, and I echo those words. So we're going to address the big elephant in the world, not just in all of our rooms, COVID. So COVID-19, we've experienced a huge shift in the way we live our lives and how much time we actually spend in our physical homes. Now, people who have been building, you guys know that commercial buildings have a different code than residential, especially when it comes to HVAC systems and ventilation. So this is the first time where a lot of people might be working from home and breathing in their own air. So just in the chat real quick, if you have changed to work from home due to COVID, can you say yes in the chat? One person is still paying attention. I lost you guys. Oh. Oh, look, the guilt trip worked. All right. Sort of. I've always worked from home. Okay. Good to know. Yes, capital yes. Okay. And of those of you who have said yes, occasionally, okay. Have you noticed higher energy bills? Yes, okay. Double yes from Gloria. Okay. Always worked at home. And those of you sharing your space with other people who are also working from home, or if you have kids, have you had this phenomenon called the thermostat wars, where someone changes the temperature here because it's colder on one side of the house and it's hotter on the other side of the house, and you can never kind of figure it out? Silence. All right, a big yes. All right, there it is. I feel like this really struck a nerve. People are describing it. Okay, husband is new to working from home and his office is super hot. And then Scott installed a 14 kilowatt hour solar array, so our bills have plummeted, but usage rose. Okay, good to know. And then the last one, you guys don't have to answer, but oh, Gloria, I'm sorry, your programmable one never works. Okay, that's sad. Yeah, so you don't have to answer the one about the dust. But these are all things that green construction and green building addresses. So one of the biggest findings that scientists have found with COVID and indoor air quality is that places where the indoor air quality is very poor, where you have the presence of high levels of particulate matter and other pollutants, there are actually links to more intense and more severe cases of COVID. And so, I mean, it makes sense when you look at it. Let's say you live in an apartment building when the ventilation's old, everyone's sharing the same system. There's no ventilation to really go outside. And then you go into an elevator, you go down the stairs, everyone's exchanging the same air. So viruses and bacteria start to accumulate and concentrate. So, I mean, it's really like, when you think about it, it's kind of like, duh, poor indoor air quality and COVID-19 there is a relationship and a correlation between those spaces. So the ventilation it's a public health thing. We need to know more about how we can preserve our indoor air quality and how we can address it to make sure that going forward, our building codes and our building standards, this is one of the ways that your green home needs to work for you and for your health and for your customers' health if you are a realtor. So what goes into a green home? I've talked a lot about the benefits, but insulation is one of them. You know, you want to seal the envelope, you want to prevent mold from coming into your home through any air spaces or mold, termites, things like that. Ventilation to compensate for that. You need that fresh air quality. Like, I know one of the things that we do, thanks to Florida Green Building Coalition, is the way we build our air ducts, all of our air gets vented to the outside. So our bedrooms, the fresh air comes in, used air goes out. It doesn't get recycled into your attic. And that's an FGBC code. That's an environmental, EPA Environmental Air Plus code as well. Your kitchen, your laundry, your bathrooms vented to the outside. The good thing about the kitchen being vented to the outside is when you cook fish or bacon, egg, and cheese, your house doesn't smell like it for 3 days. So that's just a nice comfort feature to have, to be able to cook something and not smell it 3 days after you eat it. Materials, I already addressed off-gassing. You want to have like even just something as little as good kitchen cabinets. You don't want that particle board or the plywood that's going to break easily that you're going to have to replace. You want to have a nice, genuine, hardy substance, whether it's natural wood or something else. Now, the processes. Green building is not just about the materials and how you assemble it. When we, and this is an FGBC requirement and an indoor air plus requirement, when we build our home, when we install the air ducts to our home, we automatically seal it. And that's important because a place like Florida, where it's humid and hot during the day and cool at night, then you have all these construction contaminants, pollen on the outside, your air ducts are exposed. So by sealing them right away, you prevent things from getting into your air ducts. Sometimes, God forbid, during a hurricane or something else, people don't know that when they move into their new home, their air ducts already have stuff in it that can negatively impact their health. You know, the worst case scenario being mold and other stuff, but, you know, I'm not saying all your homes have mold in it. I don't have the authority to do that, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But by having accountability in these processes and the testing, when you build green and you build certified green, your energy raters come out at different parts during construction to test the phases. So these processes, when it comes to green construction, is extremely important, and it holds you, to the last form, accountable. You need to have accountability, just like I think Greg Hardwick said it. Don't let anyone tell you you're building green without having some accountability for it. You need to have someone coming and checking. And that's also a good thing, because when someone moves into your home, if you're a realtor again, and you want your clients to move into their brand new home, it feels better when you have someone coming in after the certificate of occupancy and testing the air quality to make sure that we did what we were supposed to do. And so it doesn't really get better than that. You have extra accountability, better processes, better materials, all the way from the architecture to design of the home to the end, to the outside finishes. Everything about it is done differently. So this brings us to who needs to be involved. Who's your green team? Obviously, you need a good builder who's familiar with green construction and how to do green construction. The green builder will probably engage in an architect. If you have your own architect that does green building, that's good too, but hopefully the builder already has a relationship with the architect. That way, you know, the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. You want as much communication between these different team members as possible in the process. The subcontractors, you know, you don't necessarily need to have a subcontractor who says, oh, I only do green installation or I only do this, but you do need to have a subcontractor who's willing to learn how to do the green process and who knows how to do it and who's willing to do it. And that's something that the builder will hold them accountable to, and the builder superintendents or whoever that construction team of the builder is will do. You need to have good AC design. So whoever designs the air conditioning needs to be on that team. Landscaping, for example, if you're in Florida, there's the UF Florida friendly landscaping. The plants are Florida friendly. You use drip line irrigation, which is where like the hose goes right to the roots and it has little holes in it. That way you're not spraying water all over the place, and you know, you can save a lot of water and your plants can actually get the water that they need. And then they attract good pollinators, so you're not having and limiting invasive species that negatively impact your ambient environment. Green certifiers. This, I cannot stress this enough. We at Florida Green Construction, we're lucky enough to use 15 light years, where they're not too far from us. And then there's another one, I think Two Tails, Drew Smith. you need a good relationship with your green certifier. And that's not necessarily the customer, but it's more on the builder's end. But hey, the customer, your homeowner, you can hold the builder accountable to it. And same if you are a realtor or someone else on the periphery of the industry. The green certifier does a number of things. They come out during construction and they test how the construction's going. They provide a standard. They're problem solvers for, you know, if something goes wrong in the field. Hopefully that's not the case, but you know, we're not perfect. And then at the end, if let's say you want to resell your home or you're doing a mortgage and you need a loan, they will provide something called the Green Addendum, where they can actually demarcate and measure how much money you're going to be saving a year on your energy bills. They could estimate that and test that before you even get your mortgage. This is important because you do need a knowledgeable real estate associate and a lender, because you need a lender who will attach that Green Addendum to your contract. That way, when it gets sent out to be appraised, you have the correct appraiser who knows how to appraise green properties. So if your real estate associate or your lender or appraiser isn't necessarily willing to work with you on that, you know, there are a number of things that you can do before finding someone else. You could approach your builder and ask for a meeting between your builder and your green certifier and get everyone together, have a nice education talk, and move forward from there. Usually when you get everyone together, it does wonders. People do want to work together. People do have similar goals, and people do want to get customers into homes. So working for a builder, I can definitely at least vouch for that. So more importantly than anything else, your green team works for you. Well, I'm talking to the homeowner here. Your green team, if you feel like your green team is not cooperating or if there's something off, remember that this process is about you and how you're going to live. And that's the benefit of the green home. The green home and the green team, it's a way of construction with the person living there and the dweller in mind. All right.
Wow, Mary, that was great. What a wealth of information. And I certainly learned some new things. So, and very excited about the green process, since I have not built anything green. I've retrofitted, but not built new. But that's very, very good information. Thank you so much for that. So let's see what kind of questions your audience has for you.
Great.
Let's see if there's... okay, let's see. We've got, oops, they're answering the other things that you had been doing. Okay. In case, since there aren't any written questions, maybe there are some questions that people have that you can unmute yourselves on your phones or on your screen, I believe, so you can ask other questions, especially if you're on a mobile phone, a cell phone. So, they don't have a prompt for muting. CJ, are you able to do anything with that?
It's going to take me a minute. I have to go each individual by one, but yes, I can unmute everyone right now.
Okay, so one of the questions was...
actually, they're going to have to raise their hand to talk, and then I can unmute them one at a time.
Oh, if you just raise your hand, let's see.
Peggy's got a question.
Go ahead, Peggy. Technology. Peggy?
Can you hear me? Let me see.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Mary, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. And the value that you're giving your client can't be beat. I wish every builder would do that presentation. That's where our biggest problem is. But you're taking them through the process. And Jeannette, I'm glad this is going to be taped, because I think I'm going to be talking before Keller Williams tomorrow. But this would be something that every single broker should have at their meetings.
I agree.
unbelievable. I love the fact that you brought in about the green at the very end, the Green Addendum, which helps the green certifiers identify that, because they need that in lieu of the fact we can't get Asians to use our green fields. You know, I've always thought that people that don't market the green aspect of a home is like somebody listing a property on the river and forgetting to say it's on the river. So I don't want to take up everybody's time, but Mary, outstanding job. Jeannette, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Peggy.
And
Anybody else?
Gloria has her hand up.
Okay, Gloria. Gloria, are you on mute, or have you unmuted yourself?
To unmute myself. So sorry. This
There
was.
you go.
I want to thank you. I'm an environmental manager and also a realtor, but I wanted to find out where we can find more green builders in Florida, because I have a hard time finding the builders that are actually doing green building, not just, you know, putting in the Alexa or putting in just certain pipes, but I want the green ones. Do you know of any in South Florida?
Have you looked on the FGBC website? Because we have several members who are green builders all over the country.
Okay. I did look and I saw some in Miami, but nothing in Palm Beach County.
Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of them around, and it's going to depend upon the consumers and homeowners starting to demand it. That's the issue.
I agree.
Also, we get calls from all over Florida asking us to build in South Florida and West Florida and the Panhandle. One of the things you can do for a customer that really, like, you know, they're not there, is you can ask your customer what they want. If they want like a Florida Green Building Coalition website, it has a list of contractors who are members. Now, just because they're a member doesn't mean they build green, but maybe they'll be willing to. But also the EPA, if you're looking for indoor air quality, the EPA's website, the Indoor Air Plus, does have builders nationally who do their ratings, who do the EPA specs, which at least does the indoor air quality. That doesn't necessarily mean it's totally green, but if you do have someone, you can find it on their website, the Indoor Air Plus nationally, and you can see how many of the homes that the builder has built, how many EPA Indoor Air Plus ones they have built. Now, again, that's not a green thing, but but it is a start. And if you want to do someone who, like, what you can do is go on the Energy Star website and look up the HERS rating of certain addresses. And you can also like cross-reference it see if maybe any of the builders do the HERS ratings and the EPA Indoor Air Plus. But I would definitely at least start with FGBC's website because we have a lot of members, and something's got to give, you know.
Another thing to also think about is taking the FGBC standards, the different categories, and taking that to a builder, and, you know, maybe help educate them and say, you know, I want to build to these standards. Are you able to do any of this? And, you know, maybe that's a way that we can get it to move a little faster.
You know, on that point, I'm a member of one of the committees with the Board of Realtors, and I don't see anywhere where they have any type of green development. And have you all contacted the Realtors Associations to give this type of course to, like, in the professional development area?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, and I have actually, I'm an instructor for the green course, and I have offered to teach it to a number of real estate boards, but the realtors are very busy and they don't find it that important to receive any more education, because they're right now they're making a lot of money during the pandemic and with the low inventory of houses. So it's very difficult to get them to focus on something else that might be really good for their buyers or customers. So it's not an easy road, but it's going to take demand, whether the customers, buyers, or whoever starts demanding that there are green MLS data fields that are completed and that they want green homes. I mean, an Energy Star built home is not necessarily as green as what you might want it to be. It's sort of, there are a lot of good things about an Energy Star rated home, and it's not just the Energy Star appliances that are in it. So, but it's a good starting point.
Yeah, it is a good starting point. There, even just being in the industry here, I find that we get a lot of customers who call without their realtors. And one of the feedback that I've gotten is that, like, either their realtors try to take them to like a different builder, and like, if you know, like, I'm not sure why, but we do have a lot of customers who come back to us, say like, no, we only want this green home. We don't know why our realtor either didn't know or doesn't want to cooperate or wants to do that. We like working with realtors, so that is kind of sad. But you know, the realtors that we do have the privilege of working with usually come back to us, and we usually have a really good relationship with realtors because these are realtors who want the best for their clients. They're not trying to take them to like the quickest, like, here, let me pass my client off to just the first builder I know that's probably decent and then move on. So we do have really good relationships, and a lot of realtors also do want to help their clients. But what I'm seeing in the chat is you want to help your client, but you don't know how, you don't know where to go to. So, but the fact that you want to do that, there are resources out there that we are going to slowly address in the questions.
I'm not able to see all the questions for some reason, unless they're in the chats, but are you able to see any of the other questions, Mary, that you can answer or address?
Yeah, so Dory, I think the first, Gloria, contact info. I would be happy to share my contact info. Dory, can you recommend a green team in my area, 32080? Is that St. Augustine area?
That's my area, yeah.
Well,
we're
there. Yeah, we're now building in the St. Augustine area. So hi, shameless plug, I guess. Is that the vernacular that millennials use? Shameless plug. Okay. So how can you find out where green builders are in Florida? Definitely go to the Florida Green Building Coalition website. It's there. I think Mary Tapuni, I saw that she's shared it. I think that also addresses Bill's question. Scott, you have a challenge getting an appraiser who can A, do a green appraisal, B, find comparable properties within acceptable ranges in terms or just, okay. I have lots of recommendations and lots of stories for that, Scott. We might be on here for another hour. So I'll give you like, please email me and we'll talk on the phone for that. But short story, this committee, Sandra Adamanis, she wrote the book on green appraisals in essentially the US. She helped us find how we can request a green appraiser and gave us all the documentation to do so. I'd be happy to help you with that. I know you're in central Pennsylvania, but I have a lot of recommendations.
Also, as far as finding comparable properties within acceptable ranges, that is a lot of that depends on the realtors filling out the green and multiple listing data fields. Until we get used to filling those out, it's hard to find the comparable properties. Having a sentence in the comments saying this is a green property is not the answer to that dilemma. So, you know, it's going to take demand. As I said before, customers have got to start demanding that their realtors do their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dory, I would be happy to connect with you up in the St. Augustine area. Jeannette is very knowledgeable of the St. Augustine area of green stuff. So also shamelessly plugging her. She's been a pleasure to work with. Even though we're based in Palm Coast, Jeannette has been just an incredible source. She's an eco broker up there. Definitely connect with her, connect with me, and we'd be happy to help. I think Bill, yeah, you're right. Okay.
To meet with the builder. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. The certifying agent, if you also don't know a green builder and you're somewhere in the middle of nowhere, contact the certifying agent office. Just put energy raters. If you're not in Florida, try a source like LEED or Green Globes. If you're in Florida, FGBC is the biggest one that does Florida. So it's going to be a better resource for you than US Green Building Coalition. So just at least in Florida, that's what I can speak to. So definitely contact a certifying agent, energy raters, energy brokers, and that can possibly get your foot in the door. They can potentially direct you as to who built the house. So, and yeah, and Michael Solito, he says he's a certifying agent in the Venice area. Venice, is that Southwest Florida? West Florida, right? Okay. So people in West Florida, we have a good resource here. All right. Any other questions in the chat that maybe I missed?
No, just put your contact info there, please.
All right. I'm going to put my email in and my phone number.
I think, CJ, did you have a slide for that one with her information?
No, Mary sent me her slides, so these are her slides.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, okay, Mary just posted her email address, and Karen says she's located in Boston and NAR Green certified. Yes. Glad to hear you're NAR Green certified. I'm trying to get more realtors certified green down here, but not with the same amount of luck as the Northeast has. So, all right, with there being no more questions, I guess we will go ahead and end the Q&A session. Thank you, Mary, for all the great information you gave us. We're looking forward to joining you on walkthroughs of your green homes in various stages as we continue our building blocks of green building. And I think everybody's going to be pretty excited. I know I am, to walk through the house and have you actually put your camera on the different parts of the building. So that's very exciting to me. So we at Florida Green Building Coalition are delighted that all of you chose to attend our first webinar in our Lunch and Learn series, and hope you are leaving with some valuable information that will help you in the future. Please join us for our next Lunch and Learn webinar on Tuesday, May 11th at 12 noon again. And then when you leave the meeting today, if you would please complete the survey so that we have a good idea of other topics that might be of interest to you. So thank you again, Mary, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah, and if I see people for some reason can't see the information, if someone has any questions, contact CJ or Jeannette and they'll get us connected.
Yeah, we will get you Mary's information. If you just contact FGBC and you'll go straight to CJ, or my information's not on here, but he can always forward it to me. So however you would, any questions that you have in the future, just please contact us and we'll do our best to answer. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
And have a wonderful day.
Thank you all so much.